Am I the asshole for using my scared pregnant wife's cravings against her to drive her to the hospital during labor when she absolutely wouldn't? My wife and I have been together for 6 years now, and a few months ago, we welcomed our first child, our baby girl, the sweetest baby ever. The ongoing tension between my wife and me started with what happened on the day of the birth. During the final 2 months of her pregnancy, my wife was overwhelmed with anxiety about giving birth. As her due date approached, she refused to even talk to her doctor on the phone, breaking down in tears at the slightest mention of labor. It was like she was in denial, as if ignoring it would make it go away. I tried to encourage her to see a therapist or at least talk to someone, but she shut me down every time, saying she just wasn't ready. On the day she went into labor, she was having obvious, intense contractions, but she kept insisting they were minor and refused to go to the hospital. Her mom, her sister, my sister, and I all tried to reason with her, but nothing got through. She was determined to stay home, despite being in active labor. At that point, my sister and I knew we had to act. Throughout her pregnancy, my wife had been craving churros, so my sister casually mentioned she was going to pick some up. My wife jumped at the chance to go with her, thinking it would help take her mind off things. But my sister and I had already agreed. We were taking her straight to the hospital. There was no way we could leave it up to her judgment anymore. When my wife realized where we were going, her face dropped. She started crying and panicking in the car, but we pushed through because it was the only way. In the end, everything went smoothly. She gave birth safely, and both she and the baby were healthy. It's been a few months now, and she keeps berating me, using it like a weapon in every argument. Every single time, I apologize, I reassure her. I tell her that I can empathize that she was very scared that day. I never meant to hurt her, I just wanted what was best for her and our child. There was no ill will involved, but she continues to make me feel like I am somehow a terrible person for what I did to her. This time when she berated me again, I finally let myself snap because I felt she deserved some harshness from me too. I told her she thinks she's doing our marriage great favors by being the toxic one, always carrying that bomb in her back pocket, ready to throw it in my face whenever she wants, without a shred of shame. And if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't hesitate, because in that moment, her choices couldn't be trusted. If she's still bitter about it after endlessly making up to her, that's just foolish. She should be grateful I stepped in, took control, and made sure both she and the baby came through safely and healthy. And unless she's willing to work with me and understand my perspective and communicate healthily, I won't speak to her about it anymore. She refused to take in and called me an asshole for dismissing and stonewalling her just because I firmly made it clear I was only going to engage in constructive conversation over this. I don't respond well to being called names like that, because I never talked to her that way. I have never talked to anyone that way. I was furious with her for calling me an asshole, so I finally said something like, "Talk to me in that tone again, and you'll soon be a single mom real quick." She can't stop crying. I feel terrible, but this had been a pattern. I had just been taking all the verbal beatings and had to put an end to it by responding with the same energy.